Hey there, thanks so much for joining us for this week's Crossroads Politics here on WTHR Plus. I'm Dustin Grove, and we start in Indianapolis, where a mass shooting hours after the annual 4th of July fireworks show downtown left 2 teenagers dead. Local leaders are calling for action, and we saw this week leaders talking about it, attempting to deliver. Emily Longnecker is here to explain. And so what exactly is the plan? What's the discussion?
So on Monday, the City County Council met for its regularly scheduled July meeting, and obviously this mass shooting became a major topic. Our reporter Alex Alamanza was there at the meeting as the council tried to find a solution.
The night started with a prayer followed by a mandate from city leaders and community members ordering change, starting with an extended curfew for children.
In a last-minute amendment to Monday's agenda, City County Councilor Leroy Robinson introduced Proposal 232, which would extend the curfew for kids in Marion County.
Not about penalties, but first and foremost, the thing we're going to do is we're going to try to offer some support to the parents. If they are not abiding by the curfew and if there's multiple violations, we can be able to fine them, get them parenting classes.
If passed, kids ages 15 to 17 have to be off the streets by 11 on Friday and Saturday nights. The rest of the week, it's 9 p.m. And for kids 14 and under, it's 9 p.m. every single night.
Relationships are important, and I think we need to support parents as well as our kids. Our parents need support. It's hard.
But some city leaders say a curfew alone won't fix the problem.
And it's actually pretty weak, right? All it's doing is changing times. And we seen last year that we were in the same exact scenario, and here we are again.
The Fraternal Order of Police calls the plan, quote, window dressing on a sinking ship. FOP leaders say they want prosecutors to get tougher and judges to stop what they call a, quote, revolving door for repeat offenders.
I've got a 15-year-old daughter, I got an 11-year-old son. I know where they're at all times, right? And if there's not, there are organizations and ways that we can try and bring some of that, and that goes back to the question about where we're spending the resources from the city. Is it on parenting classes, is it on diversion programs, or is it on intervention programs?
But supporters argue this is just one piece of the puzzle. IMPD Chief Chris Bailey saying, quote, this isn't about ruining anyone's fun, it's about saving lives. We look forward to continuing our work with elected leaders, government agencies, and the community to protect what matters most, our children.
That proposal now heads to the Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee meeting on July 16th. If approved, it will be sent back to the full council for a final vote in August. In Indianapolis, Alex Almanza, 13 News.
And Mayor Joe Hogsett also weighed in on the curfew changes, telling us he is on board with the plan.
We introduced it at a very kind of early stage in the process because we needed to get that process on the books so it could be passed through the council in a very swift and speedy manner. So even though the introduction last night is just the beginning and there may be some changes along the way,
someone that is not a fan is the president of the Indianapolis Fraternal Order of Police, calling the plan, quote, window dressing on a sinking ship. Meanwhile, Congressman Andre Carson is introducing new gun control legislation in Washington in the wake of the mass shooting. In a statement, he said, quote, any discussion of public safety in Indianapolis and across the country must include common sense gun safety reforms that everyone can get behind. Now, according to Carson, the bill would direct the Department of Justice to establish voluntary best practices for firearm storage and publish the information publicly. It would impose labeling requirements for handguns, rifles, and shotguns to say safe storage saves lives, directing attention to that safe storage information, and provide grants for developing a safe firearm storage assistant program and give a 10% tax credit on safe firearm storage devices. Now, Dustin, we know Carson is a Democrat, right? And Republicans control both chambers of Congress. So getting this passed is really going to be an uphill climb.
And Democrats control the city county council here in Indianapolis, but they're certainly not united right now. As we saw last week, there's a lot of internal strife within the party.
A lot of strife going on, and we saw that this week. Councilor Krista Carlino announced she was leaving the Democratic caucus. The announcement comes after a couple weeks of back and forth. Carlino came under internal fire when she called on the mayor to resign and for the council's president and vice president to step down from their leadership positions. That came during a meeting about the Hogsett administration investigation. After that, Carlino was reportedly voted out of the Democratic caucus. An apology appeared to have prevented her from formal removal, but now she says she's leaving voluntarily.
But for me, lack of leadership, abuse of power, and an inequitable application of the caucus rules really led me to make this decision, and I feel that I'm justified in stepping away for that reason.
Carlino says she will continue to serve on the council as the representative for District 11, but she says she will not caucus with any party for the foreseeable future. And we know that Carlino is the second Democrat to not be caucusing with the rest of the party. Last year, the council Democrats voted Jesse Brown, a Democratic socialist, out of the caucus.
And what you said, it was an important point. Just because they don't caucus with the party doesn't mean they're leaving the council. They're still serving their district.
They are.
They're just not participating in the internal discussions, the conferences, that kind
behind
of
the closed doors.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't remember, you and I were talking. I mean, you've been here in Indianapolis for a number of years. So have I. I don't remember such infighting within the Democratic Party on the council.
Not like this.
Yeah.
Not like this.
All right. A life-saving device that too few schools have on hand. Now, that could change. Still ahead, we have the big step forward in the battle to get AEDs into every Indiana school building. But first,
it's really easy for people to get into trouble quickly. It only takes 10 seconds in order to drown.
lawmakers and kids both heading to the pools this summer, though with some different priorities. Water safety in the summer study committees. That's next on Crossroads Politics here on WTHR+. Welcome back. Like many students, most of Indiana's state lawmakers take the summer off, but they spend some months studying as well. The summer study committees can have a really big influence on upcoming legislative sessions. Emily's been looking into this year's study committees and what lawmakers have been doing at the State House, including one focused on a popular summer pastime. They're looking into swimming.
Yep. You know, when it's hot out like it has been this summer, it is great to get in the water, but it can be dangerous, especially for kids. And the Centers for Disease Control say drowning is the leading cause of death in kids ages 1 to 4, and it is the second leading cause of injury and death for kids between the ages of 5 and 14. State lawmakers want to take a closer look at that to see what can be done here in Indiana to prevent that from happening.
Summer morning in July at Indy's Ellenberger Park Pool.
Everybody loves water. Like, water has this just pull for people. They want to jump in.
But without knowing how to swim or basic water safety, a day of fun in the water can lead to the unthinkable.
It's really easy for people to get into trouble quickly. It only takes 10 seconds in order to drown.
That's why Shariah Tornquist has had her kids in swimming lessons since they were little.
Because we really obviously want them to know how to swim. It's a very important life skill.
Now state lawmakers want to study whether Hoosier kids in grades K through 12 should be required to learn water safety as part of their health curriculum. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle brought the idea to their leadership. Now lawmakers on the Public Health, Behavioral Health, and Human Services Summer Study Committee will look at the issue to see if legislation surrounding it should be proposed.
49 Hoosiers under the age of 18 have passed away over the last several years. That's a lot of people that, unfortunately succumb to something that was preventable.
Just like fire safety lessons for kids help them learn the safety technique of stop, drop, and roll, there's also a phrase for water safety.
Right? Everybody knows stop, drop, and roll. Well, one of the things that isn't taught is flip, float, and follow.
If that changes and becomes a requirement for what Hoosier students must learn in their health classes, parents like Shariah Tornquist say it would make a difference during pool visits like this one.
So it would be nice to have kind of that base knowledge, or kind of a little bit more security to know, well, most kids have already had a lesson or something.
The Key say water safety and swimming instructors will be making sure everyone has access to the same lessons.
As always, things with requirements, like making sure that support of making the requirement happen in an actionable way that is fair and equitable is incredibly important and should not be ignored.
And no matter what the study committee finds, any measures would still have to make their way into legislation. We'll have to wait till the next legislative session, Org Day, in November to find out what some of the topics are that are going to make their way into proposed bills.
In addition to this one, what are some other topics lawmakers are studying right now?
Well, they're looking at reports from state and local DCS officials about child safety. They are also looking into medical debt, and they will look into pollution from lead, heavy metals, plastics, and other harmful materials from improperly discarded cables.
Okay. And again, these are issues that they're studying, not necessarily something that may make it into legislation next session, but it's a possibility.
Correct.
All right, Emily, thanks again. Well, a ceremony with life-saving consequences.
I have such a sense of relief. I have a lot of joy today because of this ceremony.
A victory in the fight to get AEDs into all Indiana schools. It's next on Crossroads Politics. Welcome back. Starting this school year, AEDs will be required in all Indiana schools. This is an issue our 13 Investigates team reported on for the last year. Our 13 Investigates reporter Sierra Putman was there earlier this week as the governor held a ceremonial signing for this new law.
Bob Baining, author, Brian Buchanan, sponsor.
This ceremonial signing with the governor means the world to Julie West.
I have such a sense of relief. I have a lot of joy today because of this ceremony.
Now, AEDs, or automated external defibrillators, are required at all Indiana schools. West started championing the issue after the 2013 death of her son, Jake. In 2023, lawmakers passed Jake's Law, but 13 Investigates learned they sidelined efforts to mandate the devices in schools, even though they can restart a heart that stops.
It's not good enough.
Our reporting also showed the state did not require schools to participate in an AED survey, so 13 Investigates conducted our own. We found most schools had the devices, but many did not have key emergency plans in place. We also learned schools have used AEDs dozens of times to restart the hearts of both students and adults.
I was shocked 4 times, and without the AED, I would not be sitting here.
This legislative session, Julie and Senator Linda Rogers championed new AED rules.
This is extremely important.
The original bill died, but in a surprise move, the issue was resurrected.
Can we take the amendment by consent?
Consent.
All right, let's accept amendment number 30.
And eventually passed the House and Senate on lawmakers' very last day.
Your reporting has been helpful in keeping this alive, so thank you.
Now the state is notifying schools of the new requirement to have working AEDs and venue-specific plans to use them during an emergency. Ultimately, Julie says this law
is going to save lives. It's going to save lives.
In case you're wondering, this law applies to all schools, public, private, and charter. They all need to have working AEDs at sporting, band, drama, and other events. Sierra Putman, 13 Investigates.
And our thanks to Sierra for following this so closely for so long. And that does it for this week's Crossroads Politics here on WTHR Plus. For Emily Longnecker, I'm Dustin Grove. Thanks so much for watching. We hope to see you next time.